Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY anime discussion. If you see things flying around in the camera, there seems to be some sort of wasp or yellow jacket type insect thing flying around here. I try getting it outside and it just ends up showing up. So if I freak out suddenly, like, ah! It's because it came directly at me. That was just an example though. I totally forgot what I was doing, but okay, hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel. Welcome to Pokemon XY anime discussion. Sorry about all that. Okay, woo! Alright, yeah, I totally forgot what I was going for. So anyway, in this particular video, we're going to talk about a few things. First, we're going to touch up on a little bit of new information that the upcoming episodes have, but today's topic is going to be evolution storylines. I realized that maybe my upcoming episode discussion was a little lacking or whatever in terms of specific details, but I want to give my thoughts of what I would like to see in terms of the stories behind the evolutions of the main characters' Pokemon. I'm only going to choose the Pokemon that I see right now as most likely to evolve. Like, basically, all of Ash's Pokemon except Pikachu that can evolve on Ash's team seem like they will evolve and so forth. Clemont, I don't think there's going to be anything for him. Serena, I might suggest Braixen, Pancham, and Eevee, but I guess we'll just it'll just be kind of a basic rush through since not really entirely sure Pancham's going to evolve or even Braixen's going to evolve. So first, let's go with the new information. We have a new image in a summary, or, well, not a new summary, but we have a new image for the Braixen and Pancham, the captivating fiery performance of episode, and we have a picture here, Serena with her new hair design. Her new hair design that she's had for like 20 episodes now. That new hair design, you know that one. Just kidding. It's just so weird just seeing her without her hat. It kind of looks like it's a new hair design to begin with. I actually wonder if in every episode the animators are like drawing an inch of her hair, actually showing that Serena's hair is growing, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we don't actually notice this because it's like sudden, and then all of a sudden we look back at the episode where she did cut her hair, and then we look at it now, it's like, wait a minute, holy crap, this whole time her hair was growing. That would be hilarious if we didn't notice, because a lot of times it's hard to notice something like that, especially if they just added like a little bit more of her hair in like every episode almost, or every other episode, and it's just so seamless and it takes a while. We get so used to the change in hair length that we don't actually consider it. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, Serena is without her hat, but she's wearing an apron, a pink apron. She's doing something. And next to her is Pancham, who has a spoon, and he's mixing something. They're making Pokepuffs, by the way, because that's the performance round of the Pokemon Showcase, if I'm not mistaken. And then right behind Pancham, at first I was a little worried. I thought that was Lucario. I was like, no, did they give me a Lucario? Come on. But no, it's not Lucario. I had to take a second glance. It's actually Braixen, and she's like stomping grapes. You know, like those, like when you're like making like wine or whatever. I guess you have those big vats, and they're like full of grapes or fruit, and then there's like people stomping on them. Yeah, kind of like that. That's kind of what it looks like. I don't know if that's what Braixen is doing, but that's kind of what it looks like. So yeah, I don't think there was any other summary. Outside of the one that I think I've already said, which is Serena once again enters a Pokemon Showcase. The theme performance is about making Pokepuffs. Together with Pancham and Braixen, she shows everyone a beautiful performance and makes it through in style. However, as she heads towards the free performance, trouble is brewing backstage, which either means Miette or Team Rocket, because we all know Jessie is wanting to be a Kalos Queen. So I think that's pretty much it for that episode, and then let's go back to the previous episode, which I neglected to start with. with the new summary that explains a little bit more of the Pokeball Factory episode. One day, Ash and his friends visit a Pokeball factory for a guided tour. You know, it's kind of weird. Now that I think about it, Noibat wasn't actually caught in Lavere Town, but it's or Lavere City, sorry. Lavere Town? Yes! There are lots of gyms and lots of towns. Lavere City, the thing is, if I'm not mistaken, the Pokeball factory is directly in Lavere City, so it's a little weird that they're in a Lavere location, but they're not actually in Lavere. Unless, of course, there was this miniature route that I'm misremembering from the games. It's always possible. Actually, let me go look that up real quick. Pokeball Factory. I'm pretty sure it's directly in Lavere, but could be wrong. Yep, it is in Lavere City. So it's kind of weird that Noibat was like actually caught in a different place. Maybe they expanded. Maybe the Pokeball Factory was kind of like in between, and what the anime decided to do was to stretch that so there could be some towns. Because I don't know where this Pokemon Relay episode is going to take place in. So just some thoughts there. So anyway, one day Ash and his friends visit a Pokeball factory for a guided tour, but the tour turns out to be one of Team Rocket's traps, and they end up stealing all of Ash and friends' balls. But they're Pokeballs with their Pokemon inside it, just to clarify. Pokemon included, under the pretext of performing maintenance on them. Oh, sorry. I guess I didn't finish that. Sorry. Being the only Pokemon not inside a Pokeball, Pikachu does its best to save the other Pokemon. This kind of reminds me of that, well, I think it was idiotic, but I guess it was enjoyable because it was just a weird episode revolving around one of the 5th gen Pokemon. But one of the things that I really hated about Best Wishes was that they're needless episodes to make it so that they use as little Pokemon as possible within an episode, and that's kind of what they did in the BHM episode with not Pierre, Pedro, I think. No, he had like a French name, I believe. Pietro. Oh, Leon. I was even close. BHM, Deogen, and the Dream Thief, you know. One thing I hate about these episodes is like, I guess they run out of budget or something, and they have to like make it without as little few Pokemon as possible. And in this particular episode, all we had here is we had Pikachu, Meowth, Axew, BHM, Deogen, and Temple, and that was just a cameo near at the end of the episode. I guess some indication that maybe they were still in a dream, but the interesting thing here is that technically only 6 Pokemon showed up within the episode. So even though Dedenne is still a possibility in the episode, and Pikachu, it's like, I don't like episodes where they only focus on a few of the Pokemon and no other Pokemon show up, because one of the things that Best Wishes was horrible at was giving the Pokemon their proper screen time. For example, I think Swadloon could have shown up in that episode. I don't think it evolved yet. I don't think it was going to evolve yet or whatever, and it could have easily been there. It could have been a Pokeball that the Dream Thief missed or whatever, and then Ash could have used Swadloon to help out or whatever, and it would have been a great episode. Granted, we haven't encountered quite that problem yet in XY, but it could still happen in the future. Looking back, we may have thought, well, this episode could have been revolving around this Pokemon. So that's why I'm not really liking this, because all of Ash's Pokemon and all of Serena's and all of Clement's, for the most part, are being captured, and then it's just Pikachu battling Meowth. I understand that's kind of the plot of the episode, since it's Pikachu versus Meowth, but I hate that they actually write the episodes for that purpose, to make it so that they use as little Pokemon as possible. Might be a budget issue. They probably want to minimize the Pokemon, but You know, at the very least, let's get a non-voice actor lunch scene, and then Ash recalls all of his Pokemon or whatever, and then after that, at least have the other Pokemon show up at least in a little bit. So, so I guess we'll have to see what's going on there. So it'll be annoying for me if all of Team Rocket's Pokemon show up, plus Meowth, Pikachu, and Dedenne, and that's all there is. But anyway, that pretty much covers all the new episodes. We don't have any new information on the Rotom's Wish. I don't really have any last-minute speculation to discuss on the Pokemon Sky Relay Challenge with Noibat, other than Noibat hopefully masters flying. Either Ash could win the Pokemon Relay Challenge, or maybe the Staravia Staraptor trainer can learn it or whatever. Win it, learn it. Yeah, he can learn it. He can learn the match. No, he can win the challenge. I don't really care if Ash wins or not, but I suppose if it is Noibat is the last Pokemon and it's the one to win the challenge or whatever, that would be actually really nice development for Noibat. But I'm not really too picky as long as Noibat possibly uses another move, possibly to show off that it does have other moves outside of Supersonic, and as well as possibly mastering flying. I'm not really sure there's anything else to look forward to. As for the cosplay Pikachu thing, as long as we see one Pikachu using Flying Press, I'll be happy, whether it's Ash's Pikachu or someone else. So anyway, I think that covers that. If I'm not mistaken, the last episode that we're up to, that we are aware of, is the Rotom episode, so there hasn't been any information on that. So we still have no idea when Jesse's Gourgeist is going to evolve, but I would think that the most likely episode it's going to evolve in is probably going to be the Pokeball Factory episode, because in the episode we see Meowth using some Pokemon, which I believe may be Jesse and James, so maybe Pumpkaboo or something, and Meowth is using Pumpkaboo, and I think they're going to use that to evolve. Since Meowth is actually controlling Pumpkaboo, it's like Jesse traded Pumpkaboo to Meowth for absolutely nothing in return, by the way. So it might be something like that. Once Pumpkaboo is sent out, it'll probably evolve into Gourgeist, so we'll probably see that. But anyway, outside of that, not really sure. So that covers any new information that I'm aware of. I apologize if I missed anything really new information. A lot of the new summaries that probably come out are just variations of things that we already know, and the only interesting tidbit that might be new is the Pancham makes a Pokepuff, for example, as opposed to, like, say, Serena or Braixen or whatever. So it's not really all that exciting as far as I'm aware. So I'll keep you apprised when we get the main summaries before the episode airs, like on Wednesday, like a week before the episode airs. I'll make sure to make some videos on those and stuff. If there are any new images, I will try to make a video on it or whatever, so forth. So let's move on to the reason why that this video has been made. We're going to talk about evolution storylines, what I would like to see when a Pokemon evolves. So let's start with Clamont. Just real basic quickly here. I'm not really sure if Bunnelby nor Chespin are going to evolve, but if one of them has to evolve and Clamont doesn't get another Pokemon, if Clamont does evolve either Bunnelby or Chespin, I'm thinking it's going to be more likely Bunnelby that evolves over Chespin, because I still think that the only Chespin evolving we're probably going to get is probably going to be Marin. In fact, I would like to bet at least one penny, non-existent penny that doesn't exist, that maybe Marin might evolve her Chespin in the next evolution act. Maybe. Not really sure. It would be interesting to tie in because, like I said in another video, we have yet to see Quilladin. So I don't think Clement's Chessman is going to evolve. I mean, I couldn't even think of a storyline of how it would evolve. I'm guessing maybe Chespin is probably in some sort of village where all the Pokemon or humans worship Chespin, and they keep feeding him, and he keeps eating and eating and eating and eating, and then it triggers evolution. Because Quilladin's kind of chubby, you know, it's kind of big, so it seems like a Chespin might evolve in that way. You know, it eats so much that it triggers evolution. You know, like it battles and it's like worried, and it just continues to eating for whatever reason, and then it evolves. That's the best I could think of for Clement's Chespin, you know. At least Marin's Chespin, I could think of having a battle and trusting in Chespin, and then it just evolves in that fashion or another. So, as for, say, like something like Bunnelby, that I'm not really sure. I would probably guess it would just be a Bunnelby and Clement-centric episode. Luxray and Chespin would also be in the episode, but they get separated, and then Bunnelby and Clement get together, and maybe they're in some sort of electrified field, and Clement is hurting, and Bunnelby is in a ground type, so it has to evolve into Diggersby just to block it. I'm not really sure if this was going to happen, though, because Diggersby isn't exactly the most appealing Pokemon, but between it and Chespin, I think Bunnelby is more likely. Now, I realize that, hey, Dustin, starters, you know, hey, you know, but, you know, even if Ash having Frogadier, Serena having Braixen would imply that Clement will get a Quilladin, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do something like what they did in third generation, even though Mudkip took forever to evolve. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do it in this particular generation. I think from now on, in terms of the Pokemon, I think one Pokemon is always going to remain unevolved in terms of the starters, because with all the Piplup and Oshawott and Snivy thing that happened, I think they're always just going to keep one starter unevolved. I could be wrong. Might be interesting to see Clement with the Quilladin, whatever you want to pronounce it. I know it's like Paladin and Quills combined, but that's really a hard combination. Quilladin. You get what I'm talking about. Here's an image of what I'm talking about. That Pokemon! I mean, it could happen. I'm not going to completely dismiss it, but I just think that, I think the executive producers think it would just be best if one starter remained unevolved, and with Frogadier and Braixen already on the main cast, I think they're, like, aiming for Chespin remaining unevolved. If I'm wrong, great. Then maybe all three can have fully evolved starters. Maybe finally now we can get Delphox, Greninja, and Chestnut. Maybe. That would be interesting. So anyway, I think that covers Clement. Serena, right now, I don't think Braixen is going to evolve. If it does evolve, it might evolve in a similar fashion to when Fennekin evolved into Braixen. Maybe Serena will have a big loss. Maybe this will be like for the Kalos Queen. Maybe Serena will lose it, and Serena's lost. You know, as she tries to get her Pokemon getting up, so she can get ready for the next year's Kalos Queen or whatever competition, or maybe some other region's Pokemon showcases or whatever. And then she gets mad at them, runs off, and then they later work together and breaks and evolves. You know, personally, if it was up to me, I would probably have some sort of poacher. I would have already had a recurring poacher that has already kind of strong Pokemon, you know, past gen Pokemon, so that people won't think, well, just he has Aegislash, so that means Ash is never going to get an Aegislash or whatever. So just past gen Pokemon, strong Pokemon like Hunter J from 4th gen with her Salamence, kind of like that. So then, yeah, there'd be a poacher, and then what I'd have is I would have a story of like Serena breaks in all together by themselves, and they have to battle against this poacher who happens to use a Pokemon that Delphox would be super effective against. So maybe like a powerful fighting type. I'm not really sure. I can't think of anything right now. I guess it could be like Terrakion or one of those or one of those deer-like fighting type Pokemon from 5th generation, maybe, you know, or maybe like something like Mean Chow or something like that, you know. So then Braixen is getting its tail kicked in by this poacher, and then it just then Braixen fully evolves into Delphox, and then Delphox manages to beat the poacher. That would be an interesting story, you know, just to give some battling stuff to Serena, since Pokemon showcases are going to be without battles. So Pancham, only if Serena's Eevee were to evolve in Umbreon do I even ever could see Pancham evolving. I don't know if Serena's going to get another Pokemon or if Eevee's going to be it, so I don't know if there's a potential evolution going to be for there. But I would think that if Pancham was going to evolve, I think it would be like a double battle with Pancham and Umbreon against some other trainer. Then possibly Umbreon might use like Dark Pulse possibly on Pancham accidentally, and then I think that might trigger evolution even more possibly. So I think that's pretty much it for Pancham. I suppose Pancham could just evolve just because Serena has Umbreon, but I think it would be nice to see that happening. Pancham and Umbreon, hypothetically, in a double battle, and then Umbreon launches a Dark Pulse or Dark type attack. Pancham accidentally gets in the way and then evolves into Pangoro or whatever. That might be interesting. As for Eevee, I'm not really sure. If in the inning is any other consideration, the one thing that I just noticed is that Eevee is actually training at night in the moonlight in the inning. I really almost think this even confirms even more that Serena's Eevee might evolve into Umbreon, because that's a weird moment. I mean, it could be a nice moment. It could be a nice, gentle night, and Eevee's just being cute and adorable, but I wonder if that moonlight means anything. Now, I realize that one of the Pokemon moves turned a fairy type, and I think it was Moonlight, so that might actually be it might indicate more that Serena's Eevee is going to evolve into Sylveon, because I think it was Moonlight or whatever that became a fairy type. So, not really sure on that, but since Eevee does evolve into Umbreon at night, I would think that possibly Serena might have a huge loss with Eevee at one point or whatever, and she's just training it at night. Braixen and Pancham are with the other characters, and Serena's just with Eevee all by herself. And then we see something similar to the ending, only Serena's right next to Eevee and telling it to use commands, and then all of a sudden they get really happy. Eevee like hugs Serena. Serena is happy. Then Eevee jumps down. Serena compliments it once more, and then it just evolves into Umbreon. Sylveon, I'm not really sure. I would assume that if Serena's Eevee was going to evolve into Sylveon, I would expect a fairy-type move. I don't know if that's going to be like a Charm or Baby Doll Eyes or whatever. So if we have a fairy-type move in Eevee's moveset, then expect Sylveon. If it doesn't, then probably expect Umbreon, probably. Speaking of, well, wait, hold on. But if Serena's Eevee does evolve into Sylveon, I'm not really sure. The only thing I could think of is that Serena feeds, there might be a Pokepuff episode and Serena gives Eevee some Pokepuffs or something. It's hard to think of how to apply Pokemon on me into the anime because they kind of already do that enough. So maybe it's as simple as Serena brushes Eevee and it's all happy, and then maybe during Pokemon showcases or something like that, maybe there will be a point where all of a sudden Eevee will evolve into Sylveon. that might be interesting to have like a mid-evolution, kind of like Ursula in 4th Gen when she evolved her 2 Eevee into what Vaporeon and Flareon, I believe. Um, Only in a different setting, in a different sense, you know. Maybe it'll be like a culmination, like all of a sudden, Eevee is like being beautiful. It like walks, it uses its moves or something. All of a sudden, and then it reaches to a particular point where it just starts glowing and evolving. That would be a really cool. I would probably like that episode more than any Serena-related episode if Eevee were to evolve. Think of the first Pokemon showcase that Serena was in, and she did the cute costume-y things or whatever, and they did the walkway, runway, like models kind of, and stuff of that nature. What I would have liked to see in regards to Eevee evolving to Sylveon is maybe something like that. Eevee has a nice costume, it looks really cute, and it's like prancing along or whatever, looking very elegant. Everyone's like clapping and being happy. Serena's like giving Eevee confidence, and then all of a sudden when it just walks to the end of the walkway, then it just evolves into Sylveon. So that would be really cool to see. Yeah, it just sits down there ready, and then it just evolves into Sylveon. I think that would probably be the most epic evolution that Serena could ever have. So anyway, that covers Serena. Let's talk about Ash. He has 3 Pokemon that will probably evolve. Frogadier, Fletchinder, and Noibat. Noibat's probably going to be near the league, so we'll probably save Noibat for last. Like I suggested, I think Frogadier evolving to Greninja is probably going to be next. It would make sense to me since in the September calendar, Fletchinder and Noibat are there, so it's kind of weird that Ash wouldn't get an evolution since Goodra, and since Goodra was released, it's like those evolutions never happened. So what's up with that, Nintendo, or not Nintendo, TV Tokyo, OLM or whatever, whoever's producing Pokemon Company, you know, what's up with that? Come on. So how would I expect Frogadier to evolve into Greninja? I'm not really sure. I think it might be a combination of Senpai will be in the episode, and maybe we'll deal with some sort of poacher, I guess. Maybe there will be some poacher that's trying to steal the ninja secrets of some sort. I don't know why this would be the case or whatever. And it might be similar to when Froakie evolved into Frogadier, possibly. So Frogadier is like doing its best, not really cutting it with the poacher, and then it evolves into Greninja, and it uses its moves, and then it just manages to save the day, possibly. But I really do expect Senpai to actually be in the episode, because I feel like Senpai is going to be there for the development of Ash's Froakie, Frogadier, and then eventually into Greninja, as Senpai has. Outside of that, I'm not really sure. If Frogadier just suddenly evolves out of nowhere and Senpai does not come back, I'm not really sure. Maybe it could evolve in a rival battle, maybe against like Tierno's Wartortle or something, or maybe even Scotty's Grovyle. Maybe Scotty's Grovyle actually gains the upper hand because Scotty's gotten a lot stronger, so then it requires Frogadier to evolve into Greninja. It's kind of weird. With the rivalry that Frogadier and Grovyle have, it's almost like possibly they may just ignore Senpai, but hopefully they don't. So it all depends on what's going to happen. So that's that. Fletchinder evolving into Talonflame is a little bit harder to suggest. 'Cause I'm not entirely sure what exactly they would do for Fletchinder evolving. It might just be as simple as maybe there'll be another Pokeringer. The way that Tranquil evolved at Unpheasant was against a gym battle, but I really don't expect Fletchinder just to evolve into Talonflame just to beat Wolfric. I'm hoping that Talonflame will exist before Wolfric, and Talonflame might be a MVP against Wolfric. So, but outside of the storyline, I'm not really sure. It could just be some basic training episode. Maybe they do something like Fletchinder's like trying to use Flare Blitz, even though Fletchinder can't use Flare Blitz, I believe. Only Talonflame can use it. So maybe it's kind of like that. Maybe Flame Charge seems a little bit stronger. there's a battle, and then all of a sudden Fletchender evolves, and there's Flare Blitz or something. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. The one that I most could think of a storyline for Ash's Pokemon evolving was Noibat, but we're not quite there. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Fletchender could evolve in many different ways. Maybe we'll get, no, probably won't get that. I was going to say Battle Chateau related thing, but maybe not. So I'm just expecting maybe some sort of other sky battle possibly or whatever. Maybe just some serious sky battle of some sort, and then Fletchender evolves into Talonflame. Possibly, I guess we'll see. Noibat? Noibat seems like the easiest one to come up with a storyline. We all know that Noibat is deeply attached to Ash, so I want something that's similar to Chikorita evolving into Bayleaf, only maybe more intense. If we remember how Chikorita evolved, Chikorita was in a cage, and Team Rocket were using their Pokemon like Arbok, and I think Weezing was there too, and they were just like knocking Ash for a loop basically. Jesse's Arbok was using Poison Sting, I believe, on Ash, and Ash was taking damage. Chikorita got upset, evolved, busted through the cage, and that's how Chikorita evolved. So I want something similar to Noibat. It doesn't necessarily have to be Team Rocket, but that probably would make sense. So what I'd like is Noibat to be like in some sort of cage or something of that nature. Team Rocket are really like attacking Ash. They're like being vicious. They're like, Team Rocket are tired of losing to Ash, so they're just like pummeling him with their Pokemon attacks. Noibat gets really upset and sad or whatever, and then all of a sudden it yells loudly, and then evolves into Noivern, and then Noivern just kicks Team Rocket's butt. You know, and this could actually be right before the Pokemon League, actually. Kind of like Cyndaquil evolving into Quilava. It could be like that close to the League or something. So hopefully we'll see something like that in terms of Noibat. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like Noibat to evolve to protect Ash and be there for Ash, and then, you know, that would be really amazing to see. So I think that covers all the Pokemon that could evolve, that as far as I'm aware. Pikachu, Team Rocket kicks Pikachu down in a pit where there's a whole bunch of Thunderstones. Pikachu tries to avoid it, doesn't avoid it, and evolves into Raichu. There we go. There's Pikachu evolving. But anything else is probably going to have to wait until any other Pokemon. I still don't know how Jesse's Pumpkaboo is going to evolve into Gourgeist. Like I suggested earlier in this video, possibly the Pokeball Factory of Meowth using it might trigger an evolution of some sort. I don't think James's Inkay is going to evolve, so there's nothing of that. As for the Rivals Pokemon, I'm not really sure we're going to get any Rivals evolving their Pokemon on screen. It'll probably be off screen, possibly, most likely, like most of the time. Like we didn't see Trip Snivy evolving into Servine or Superior. He just showed up with them, basically. The only Pokemon that I remember rival-wise that evolved was probably like Elekid evolving into Electabuzz. And that was Paul's. Now, I'm sure there was other rival evolutions like Ursula's Eevees, I guess, if you want to argue. Although that was a forced evolution. But outside of that, I'm not really sure what's going to happen in terms of evolution. So if we get a new Pokemon that's capable of evolution or whatever, I will then discuss the potential of an evolution storyline there. So anyway, this covers this particular video. Thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.